Thank you. I call the member for Wollondilly.
Thank you, Speaker. I was going to say I rise today to speak, but I think it's almost rise this morning to speak of a number of matters that seem unconnected at first, but are the same kind of problem. It's a problem which affects many communities and a problem that underlies our planning system that needs to be fixed. The problem's one of the planning powers. It is about who actually has the power to govern what takes place. I'm not talking about individual developments. I'm talking about matters that where the community expects one thing but gets delivered something completely different. The approval of developments that are outside of the ordinary, which lead to the biggest disputes. This is why the New South Wales Government created a standard template for DCPs, LEPs and SEPPs. The issue when these created was that Council created their own version, which should apply, one would assume, the same rules. But it's not just a copy and paste. However, the complexity of the existing Planning Act and the myriad of differences Council have lead to issues. Murphy's Law says that you should expect the unexpected to happen and things will go wrong. And unfortunately, this has been the case in Wollondilly and Wingecarribee. Let me give you an example in the Wingecarribee first. The council there has a lot of R5 land, that is rural land that has large lots, not connected to any infrastructure, not connected to paths or parks, and in this zone, due to an error from the council at some point in the past, the local Wingecarribee LEP allows for group homes to be constructed. Section 60 and 61 of the State Environment Planning Policy Housing 2021 allows for the construction of group homes in R1 to R4 zones. But the Wingecarribee LEP also allows those homes to be built in R5. There is no mechanism for this House to change this. Let me reiterate, this Parliament, which created the Federal Parliament, created the councils, created the laws and governs over the planning rules of the state, have agreed to designate the rights to change LEPs and SEPPs to the Minister for Planning and Local Councils. In doing so, the Minister then delegates the sign-off changes to the Department of Planning. In a series of errors of checking, this alteration for R5 in Wingecarribee has left dormant for years until a developer has taken the opportunity to build what looks like a retirement village by stealth. The community misses out on the extra contribution of funding, which will create pathways and green space. There are no winners in this outcome. Wingecarribee Council needs to start the ball rolling to fix this urgently. Every month goes by without action. The problem will get worse. Councillors need to instruct the staff to get their work done. Similar to this issue in Wollondilly, there is another error which has allowed cemeteries and crematorium in R2 land. In the state SEPP, this is not permitted under R2 lands. I have spoken on this place previously of Douglas Park Proposed Cemetery, a proposal on a literal rock shelf that needs to be blasted in hope of burying anything connected to a road that is in complete disrepair next to a gorge and no other infrastructure. The original proposal was approved above council, and councillors, both this term and previous terms, have unanimously rejected this proposal. Wollondilly is currently reviewing the rural zoning applications and will be putting an amendment to the LEP in coming months, I'm told. This frustrating long process could be fixed by a single-page bill in this place. However, we are unable to make changes to LEPs through bills of parliament. Both Wollondilly and Wingecarribee LEPs should match the state template, and if they don't, the councils must decide if the inconsistency should remain. The final example of this is a matter of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Amendment Western Sydney Aerotropolis Bill 2024 addresses. The State Environment Planning Policy, a state instrument, has been created due to a misinterpretation of land intensification that has not allowed the construction of granny flats in lands close to the airport. It means you can build a huge 20-bedroom home if you like, but not two dwellings of 5 or 3 bedrooms or even 2 bedrooms. It means that families live in sheds still to this day. The SEPP can be changed by this place, but there has been a hesitancy to relinquish that power by this and previous planning ministers. The answer to all of these needs to be action, not by this place, but by both council and the Minister for Planning. The ultimate say is theirs. They have the power. If they cannot act with the power they have been given, then it is up for us to step in, and mark my words, if they don't get a move on, we'll have to watch this space from the community.